So today we're going to learn about more about file reading and also file writing. But before we do that, we have to discuss paths. Let's go ahead and get rid of some shortcuts. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into here. In fact, I'm going to open this in my editor. Open with code. Here's all of our files. So let's just take a look at this file over here. Right, we've got this. So what I opened up was this folder, right? And suppose I want to read a file in it. Let's go ahead and take a look at our vampires again. That would be dracula.txt. And if I run that, there's no issues here, right? Print okay, just to kind of show you that everything's okay. See, okay. Okay, and now, though, suppose I open up this file. Whoops. File reading xbad. I want to open dracula.txt, read. Now when I try to run this, I get an error. Let's go ahead and go in more detail. It says, error has occurred. No such file or directory. Dracula.txt. File, and this is the file here. Now what this is that it's giving me a path. Now, paths look different whether you're in Windows or in Linux, but they act very similar. So the issue here is that it can't find Dracula because Dracula's in this folder, but my file reading bad example is up here. So to find that, however, I know where Dracula is relative to this file. Relatively speaking, I have to go inside the Spring 2020 folder, and then I'd find it there. So I can type this. Spring 2020 / Dracula. Now, let's try it again. Run it. And there we go. We're printing out Dracula again. So what I've provided to it is a relative path to this file. Relative being from where I am, which is this Python file, where can I find this path? Now, we were using relatives paths before. Relative paths are actually pretty straightforward. If I don't modify this at all, guess what? I'm in the same path that I was earlier. Hi, Laser. Sorry, my kid's making some noise here. Joys of being from home. So, let's see. So open dracula.txt, can find it in the Spring 2020 folder. So what is a path? Well, every single file has a path to it. I'm going to go over this for both for Windows, which has C drives and the like, and in Mac-based systems. And I can do that because I've got Bash on this and Linux set up on this computer as well. Just pause for the toddler. Hi. So,
look, this, Daddy.
Oh, did you make a train track? Did you make a train track? 1 second. So, in the C drive, so Windows, the way it works is that it locates everything by drives. So I have multiple drives here, C being your main drive, just simply because of legacy reasons. Your A drive and B drives are floppy disk drives, which you would load stuff from. So the C drive was your hard drive, where things would be stored primarily, and data capacity used to be pretty small there. So inside here, so this file is located in my users folder. It might be hard for you to see on your screen, but it says users, Andrew, classroom, ITP. So into here, users, Andrew, and this over here, we'll have a folder for every user that exists on this computer. There's just one typically on Windows machines, unless you're networked. And so over here we've got a bunch of other stuff, dot stuff, meaning it's kind of a hidden folder. You can see I have a test file over here. This is called my home folder. Home folders exist on both Macs and PCs and Linux. The idea here is that this has my videos and my downloads and my pictures, right, and the like. And so this is where basically the kind of the home base for all the files and directories. So over here is the classroom folder where I keep my classroom stuff. ITP for Intro to Python, and there we are. So that's so paths in Windows though start with a drive C:, and then they go backslashes, or these forward slashes rather, and that's the main difference. But notice I have a forward slash. I have this slash over here. So which is which? Okay, Windows uses backslashes. This is just a slash, apparently. Which is, yep. So Windows uses backslashes for some reason. Don't know why, but you can use slashes, and computers will automatically convert that into, and most programs will automatically, or programming language will automatically convert that into backslash if you're doing it with Windows. If you're on Mac, let's go ahead and open up Lubuntu over here. Okay. Properties. Let's make it nice and big and easy to see. Okay. So here I'm on my computer, Amerlin, and right now I'm on my home folder. So rather than starting from a drive, here we start from the root. So let's go ahead and change the directory to the root. So notice it's got just this slash. We can see what's in the directory over here by doing ls to list. You can follow along in a Mac if you're doing this, and you'll see something like bin, boot, home, media, mount. So that's where drives get mounted, and as well as user variables. It's actually very organized. In here though, what we're interested in is home. CG to go into home. You can list there and see, hey, there's only one user. His name is Andrew. So we're going to go in, and I don't have anything in my home here because it's a clean install. I could create a file over here. Let's go ahead and create a file. I'm going to create a file like this. And you really can't use any of these instructions on Windows unless you're using a bash shell, because these are bash specific commands. Every shell, just a terminal screen, has kind of different commands. It's primarily either Windows or bash. And there's others out there, but people who use them generally use them for specific reasons. So I could touch, and there we go. And so now I've created a Python, and now my home folder here has just a Python folder. This is a different home folder, by the way, than the one, say, that's over here. CD home. And here I'm going to say dir instead, because that's how I do it. And see? Different hello.py. It's got 14 bytes in it as opposed to 0 bytes over there. So paths are, so what we can do is we can provide either a relative path to a file. So the consequence of this, I should say, is that we can provide either a relative path, which is it assumes where I am, or I can provide a absolute path. So let's go ahead and provide an absolute path. C:/ slash. Let's go ahead. Yep. C:/ users / Andrew / classroom. And this is what we call an absolute path. No such file directory. ITP. Forgot that bit. And there. So that's an absolute path. Notice I use forward slashes instead of backslashes there. The programming language doesn't care. So that's how we find our folders in, so we can find files either by providing it something like this or something relative. The advantage of using an absolute path is that you can just kind of copy paste the location of the file into there. The disadvantage is that if you have a separate program, or if you move your program to somewhere else or hand your program to somebody else, it's not going to work. So you generally don't want to use absolute paths. You want to use relative paths. Okay. There's other different things like dot dot to go up a directory, but we're really not going to go into them for right now. But just wanted to get into that so when I make folders later, we can kind of understand what we're talking about.